Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and Oceaniz.
Hello, hello.
And we're here for it's a kind of a quiet week in Shonen Jump this week. Nothing, no extra craziness or anything. Just some weekly chapters.
Yeah, just some good old shonen coming out. Like very much low-key chapters for pretty much all of the series in the magazine. I'd say at least all the ones that we read. I've seen people freak out about One Piece, but
Whatever.
condolences. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry for your loss.
Okay. You know what? I know they're in the Wano arc right now, right? Like
Maybe. I think
yeah.
so.
At me if Crocodile does something cool. I might catch up because Crocodile is dead as my favorite character in One Piece.
That's
I love that.
Captain Hook with Sandman powers, right?
Yeah, I love that stupid idiot so much. He's just a straight up like 1950s caricature of an Italian mobster, but he's also Captain Hook, but he's also Gaara. Like, come on. It's the ideal male body.
This is what peak performance looks like.
I mean, Oda would know a thing or two about funky male bodies. But anyway, we're not here to talk trash about One Piece.
Surprisingly.
Surprising. Well, we barely ever mention it. So, that's I think that's a pretty good track record.
That's true. Yeah, we do usually let One Piece rock. The more I read, all these things, all these like fan chapters, not fan chapters, but like other people's stuff that like other mangaka draw One Piece. I'm like, damn, this is pretty cool. And then I go to read actual One Piece, and I'm like, no. So I don't know. I don't know what the disconnect is.
Well, I don't know. For me, definitely one thing that's always taken me out of One Piece, and I guess this is just a One Piece segment now. One thing that's always kind of taken me out of One Piece is the art. And I know a lot of people love his art, and I like certain parts of it very much. Like, I absolutely love the way Oda draws skin stretching over bone. Like, some of the facial expressions, not all of them, but some of them I think look really good because you can sort of feel the plasticity of their mouths compared to their teeth. Like, it's very weird. It's a very specific thing, but I like that about One Piece. But for the most part, you have a serious emotional moment, and the imaginary camera turns to Luffy, and he has like his nose inside of his throat, crying buckets of water out of his ears, and it's like, okay, sorry that I thought I should take this seriously.
Yeah, I can't really vibe with the art style. I mean, sometimes it looks really cool, and then a lot of the times I'm like, oh god.
I like a lot of the like major character designs though. Like, as I said, I love Crocodile. I really like Blackbeard too. Like, he is pretty much exactly what a series antagonist needs to look like. I like Kaido. Like, in the chapters that I read, he was basically a non-entity, but whenever he showed up, that was cool. I fucking hate NL or Eneru. Garbage. Can't believe they gave that guy the lightning ability in the series.
Oh, is that the
0
guy
out of
with
10.
like the stretchy ears?
Yeah, the guy who goes to the moon.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I know him from Jump to Heroes, not from actual One Piece.
What? You mean Eneru SR from Insert Gotcha game?
He's
love him.
He's actually a 5-star, I'll have you know.
Yeah, whatever that means.
That game really likes One Piece, so it has 758 million characters, and they're all so just like, I hope you give us money for these.
750 characters, so it's just like One Piece.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's lore appropriate.
All right. We're talking a lot about One Piece for people who don't read One Piece, though.
I know. We should stop. Inevitably, we're going to get the rent-free YouTube comments.
You know what? I don't want thoughts to pay rent, because wanting people to pay rent is theft.
That's correct.
Go fuck yourself.
Landlords are evil. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because someone always gets really mad at me.
Oh, well. Okay, what do we do at the start of these? Top 3.
Top 3s, yes, sir.
One of us has to start, though.
Yeah, you. I pick you to start.
Thank you. It's an honor. Number 3, Red Hood. Number 2, Jujutsu Kaisen. No, actually, number 2, My Hero Academia. Number 1, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh my god, we've shaken up the paradigm.
Well, I had to think about it, and I was like, actually, let's shake it up. Because this week it really kind of doesn't matter between the two of them. But I'll explain it later in more detail. Basically, when I read My Hero today, my first thought was I can't decide if this was really good or really redundant. Whereas with Jujutsu Kaisen, my first thought was raw. So, there is a winner there.
Yeah, I agree. My number 3 was My Hero Academia.
Oh, shit.
My number 2 was Dr. Stone. And my number 1 was Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, shit. What is the Roboco mangaka gonna do now? Trying to...
I know. He's watching this episode like, what the fuck? What do I do with this information? They've invalidated my last chapter.
Because that was 100% a reference to us.
150. No other people have ever done top 3 lists of manga in the history of Earth. So obviously
we've invented.
Us. Yeah, we invented.
We've invented
medium.
top 3. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. We 100% invented the scoring medium of top 3.
All right. What's first?
So first up is gonna be not Red Hood because that was on your list. So it's gonna be the Elusive Samurai.
Which was pretty cool. Like, raw shit, actually.
Yeah, I really liked it. I love basically anytime, like I said, they go about traditional, like, warfare stuff. So, him saying, I can't run away because I'm one of the only mounted fighters left. And so if I run away, they're all just going to get killed. Because they don't have any way to fight him while he's on his horse. Super cool. I love that he lost by stopping the horse around too many enemies. So they just dismount him and fucking slice his head open.
Yeah, which is something I don't think I've ever seen that depicted in, like, war films and shit of that sort of era. But yeah, totally. It's such a cool way to end the fight and, to hammer home this, together we stand because we want to live together. It's like good shit. And I liked how you said, like, it almost felt like a battle between units where there were, like, tactical considerations to every move. Where he's like, yeah, I could retreat, but then I'm basically giving up the entire board because no one can counter him. And it's like, it's very cool. It definitely gives Elusive Samurai a very distinct sort of feel to its fights, which I really appreciate. I've really come to appreciate until now.
Yeah, I agree completely on that. It makes battles in Elusive Samurai in general very fun. And there's not, like, it's a nice way to utilize, the shonen tropes of, like, we're stronger together, but then also in, like, a meaningful way. Because it's not like their will has made me even stronger. It's, they didn't run away, and then they executed a proper military strategy, and now I killed you.
Yeah, also, dude, the whole thing about Shonen Jump being like a kids magazine and being concerned about what to show, that shit kind of flies out of the window when it comes to Elusive Samurai, doesn't it?
Yeah, Elusive Samurai just be killing dudes, like, graphically. Like, they hacked this man's head in half.
Yeah, and it's not, like, even, like, euphemized or hidden in any way. It's just straight up, he has, like, a huge gash in his head.
Yep, just a gaping wound at the top of his head from the bottom. So this man literally, like, got his head sliced. And then it's actually cool because you can, in the previous panel, when he's going up to attack, his sword extends through the panel and splits the guy's face in half.
Yo, yeah, no, that's super cool shit.
Yeah, I love the paneling in the series, which, I mean, again, Assassination Classroom fame, so it's no surprise that he's very talented in when it comes to the actual physical aspects of a manga, but good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff for sure. Most of the chapter was pretty much dedicated to just this, so I do like this warrior kid that we now have in the Elusive Warriors, Kojiro, because he was very much so far kind of a whatever.
Oh yeah,
but this
the
has
one
really
who
made me like
up
him.
to now he has mostly just been like sidekick too.
Yeah.
Of the war. Yeah, he really stepped up in this arc too. Very cool stuff. And it looks like next chapter we're getting my boy, Tactician Boy, who I love. So I'm looking forward to that. And he might fight Ear Guy. So it's a double whammy of the best characters in this shit.
Where's I-Man when we need him?
I know, if only I Guy was here.
I'm still sort of miffed that the whole enlarged organ meme never came to fruition.
That it didn't happen? I know. If only.
Well, alternative version. We'll
fan-made version.
We'll write our own version. We'll call it Elusive Samurai Requiem. Yeah, sorry, Attack on Titan fans, you're never living that down. What a fucking what an event.
Yeah, I just can't. That's There's some certain levels of embarrassing I feel like anime fans should try never to be. And that's so far beyond the pale of like, I hate to use the word cringe, but it's so fucking cringe.
I like to substitute the word cringe with smelly, because that's what it really is.
It's just fucking stank.
Yeah, like you can just smell the must. That's also how I feel. I think we talked about it like a week or so ago. The Deku was the actual bully all along. Write up.
Oh god, yeah, that was one of the worst things I think I've ever seen on the internet.
That was smelly, right? Like you get what I mean.
Yeah, no,
you could smell
reads.
That.
Yeah, the traumatized kindergartner was actually at fault for getting bullied. Yeah, good times there, guys.
Yeah, like honestly, has he ever tried just not getting bullied? No.
Has he ever thought about just not being bullied and minding his own business like he does in the very beginning of the series when he's trying not to get anyone's attention on him visibly?
You don't get it. Like, he provoked everyone else by existing.
If only he just fucked off and died, he wouldn't have gotten bullied.
Oh my god, that thread was absolutely made by Bakugo, wasn't it?
It really was, dude. It was exactly like Chapter 1 Bakugo was writing that. Like, maybe if you just fucked off and never talked to me again, I wouldn't have to bully you.
Good times. But anyway, Elusive Samurai gets a cool out of 10 from me.
Yes, very cool out of 10. Military strategy out of 10. Love it.
Yeah, warfare out of 10. Let's go.
the hype of war out of 10.
Child soldiers out of 10. Raw.
I mean, that was basically the entire thing of Naruto. So.
I mean, that's true. I mean, the Naruto IGN review, it really makes you feel like a child soldier.
All right. Next up is Candy Flurry.
Well, no, technically we have to announce something between that.
Oh, actually, okay, we should have announced it first because it would have been first. Yes, we're writing this letter today to, we regret to inform you that Neru, Way of the Martial Artist, has been canceled by Shonen and Chill. We will no longer be reviewing your chapter on our show.
Yep. And the reason for that is we fucking dropped it because it kind of sucks.
It's just so boring and not entertaining.
And this newest chapter, I did read it, Zen didn't. How do you make a fucking one-panel boob joke and then decide, you know what this needs? An entire half chapter afterwards dedicated to like really hammering home how funny that was.
Don't you guys think this is hilarious?
Yeah, basically what happens is they go to like a dorm house where that girl's brothers are all like senior students, and they all basically are like, you shouldn't become a martial artist, you're so cute. Like, you're so pretty.
So it's even worse. It's also like the weird boob jokes and the creepy brother jokes.
Yeah, there's a panel of him banging a drum and saying, the most adorable thing ever is you. So,
oh god, okay, that's not...
Yeah,
I'm not
so
here for either one of those things.
This shit's dropped. My condolences to all 5 fans of this series.
There's always the one person in the comments who's like, actually, Neru's really good. Neru is like our new Black Clover. We always are like, this is kind of lame. And there's always one person in the comments who's like, actually, you're wrong. And it's awesome. And but there used to be 2 people that did that. And one of the Neru fans actually turned on it last chapter. Said the last chapter was not very good. So
awesome.
Yeah. Conversion slowly happening.
Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. And dear God, Neru lost me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't usually drop weekly manga either because it's so easy to just like open it and flick through it and be done with it. But Neru was a special brand of like, I have no desire to be associated with this anymore.
Yeah, it's very... It's just a waste of time to read it.
Yeah, like, it really is.
There's just nothing very interesting.
I read everything, and then I looked at Neru, and I made the conscious choice to read Spy Family instead, even though we don't talk about it on the
show. Anyway, moving on to, I want to say happier topics, but I don't think we are we?
Well, Candy Flurry time.
Oh God. What do you even say to this? Like,
I have no fucking clue what's going on anymore in this series.
Like, it's pretty much like, this is pretty much as blatant as I'm getting canceled as you can get.
Yeah.
Like
the lollipop mech.
The lollipop mech, like their fucking explanation for their evil plan is so funny. Where is it? Let me find it. Like, yeah, I want to create a world where we are on top. Don't you think that's a good idea? I don't think so. Candy isn't a weapon. It's a dessert. End of conversation. They fight. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. The motivation was literally just like, shouldn't everyone have candy? Not if it's scary. Okay, well, I'm going to kill you. And then they fight.
Yeah, also, did you get the difference between their powers? Like, he says, oh, you ate the ready-made lollipop. Like, did I miss something, or is that just something new? Is probably...
I don't know. I guess that, like, she ate the over-the-counter version. Because remember, you could just buy them for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And his was, like, the laboratory experiment version. So hers might be, like, refined or something. But I don't actually know that there's a difference.
Yeah, it's very fucking bizarre. And yeah, of course, the mech in the room that we need to address.
Yeah, what the fuck was that even?
It's basically, she says, as long as it's on a stick and lickable, it's the lollipop, so I can control it. And then her conclusion is to morph 2 lollipops into the mech. Yeah,
which, first of all, I probably would have liked to have seen her maybe learn that about her power, like, naturally through something, instead of just, like, saying, hey, do you think it counts if it's on a stick and it's made of lickable candy? Let's find out. Randomly, seemingly out of nowhere, because she's never done that before. Also, why a mech? Why a giant mech suit?
Yeah, I'm not sure what advantage that's gonna have.
Yeah, I don't get it. And then, he's like, I have to run you this performance-enhancing drug, but, like, I'm in a mech suit right now. Also, if she uses that power, can't he just make his own mech suit? He has the same power as her.
Yeah, exactly. Is this just going to be a kaiju fight or a mecha fight?
Oh my god, they're going to have a lollipop mech fight? Are you fucking kidding me? And then that's how it's going to end. This series is going to end with Tokyo getting destroyed again by lollipop mechs this time.
And then they're going to discriminate against mecha anime fans? Sounds about right.
That's fair.
Yeah. I can't believe I fucking watched Gundam and Evangelion in the last month. I feel myself rotting away, Zen.
Slowly decaying.
Well, I didn't watch all of them. I did, the adult version of watching a show, which is to watch 2 episodes, say, wow, this is good, and then get too sad and too fucking paralyzed by adult life to do anything that pertains to watching more of it. That's why it takes me about half a year to catch up to 30 chapters of something.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. There was one good thing in this chapter, though, and that was the silly sidekick boy confronting Popcorn Bakugo.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, hey, how come you changed your edgy clothes? And he was like, that girl called me a loser. And he's like, yeah, but then you changed your whole personality because you got called a loser. That makes you even a bigger loser. And he was like, I don't know why this poor man getting fucking, like, bullied is so funny to me. But he's just constantly getting bullied, and it's always funny.
Okay, Bakugo.
I know, right? It's not good.
It's very topical, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like, he's definitely, if there's one thing this this author takes over in his next series, if he makes another one, I hope it's the popcorn guy and his gag.
Yeah, just all of the gags in this series are genuinely funny. Like I always find that, except for the pig. The pig wasn't that funny. But like the popcorn guy, and then like the gum guy constantly being accused of being like a pervert when he's just like trying not to be, and they're just like, I don't know what it is. You're just a little bit sleazier than everyone else. It's funny. Like that shit was funny, but yeah, the rest of it's just not hitting anymore. It's really not.
Well, you can just tell that they told him to pack it up. Like,
yeah, I mean, what? Yeah. The past few chapters have been such insane, like, what the fuck is going on? I feel like somewhere in the middle of the fight with the ice cream girl and the people attacking the school is when he got told, like, all right, you got to wrap this shit in, like, 2 months.
Yeah. Which is weird, though, that this is the first time that I remember that you could tell something was getting canceled by the content before the announcement came. Because we still don't have an official announcement.
Yeah, it hasn't been announced officially, but like you can see it.
Yeah.
In this, I mean, the giant mech suit is like the biggest giveaway I've ever seen in my entire life. Of like, okay, we're wrapping this right now.
Jumping the mech, as it were.
Yeah. So I think maybe by like 20 or 22, we might see that it's done now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at the very least, he's going out with style. You know, he could always do what was it? Vacuum Romance that ended in Shonen Jump Champion 2 years ago, but through cancellation. And the guy was told he had 4 chapters to wrap up, you know, his 100-chapter romance story with multiple plot threads. And he got so upset that he just sent them drafts for 4 chapters of the main heroine just fucking every single other character in the show. Like, just graphic sex.
I actually respect that, though.
Yeah, the way they had to deal with it in the end, because they had to release something. The slots were booked. And so the way it worked, I think they released them with like page cuts and reused layouts from previous chapters with other dialogue. But
so
the author then leaked the drafts himself because he was so pissed. That's one of the last like big meltdowns I remember in manga. Where it's like, you know what? Sure.
You know what? Everybody just fuck you. I respect that immensely.
Yeah. So if next Candy Flurry chapter everyone's getting piped, that'll be the actual announcement.
Yeah, well, I feel like the mech suit was the announcement, but I swear to God, it must have happened around like three weeks ago, maybe. I think when the bad guy showed up, that was my first time of like, oh yeah, okay, it's really ending now, huh? Because I think they must have told him, and he was like, well, shit. Let me get my main bad guy here immediately, and they can fight, and I can try to wrap something up at least. Because it's not going like Phantom Seer, where Phantom Seer was like, okay, we'll just beat this one bad guy and then just never talk about it again. Everything's fine. They're like violently railroad speeding toward whatever kind of conclusion they can create here.
Yeah, just whatever works, right?
Yeah, just anything to technically close the narrative.
But dude, can you imagine if he's actually not getting canceled and he just wants to move on to a different plot point?
And he just doesn't like the Tokyo thing. He's like, fuck it. Just get it over with and move on.
He's like, I don't fucking know what I was smoking 17 weeks ago, but this shit not hitting.
Shit mid all of a sudden. Time to swap it around.
Yeah, he just randomly turns it into, like, I don't know, a completely different genre.
It becomes a romance series.
I mean, hey, why not? But yeah, no, this is... I am fairly confident we're getting that announcement within the next week or two.
Yeah, I would be shocked if we haven't heard that it's going to be closed or canceled by Chapter 20. Shocked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of canceled shows, did you hear that Build King got an additional 5 chapters in its volume?
Really?
Yeah.
Are they just as bad as the others?
I have no clue. They're not translated since they're only in the Japanese volumes, but I don't remember ever seeing a canceled series get that much wrap-up time. Like,
that was a lot of additional. I mean, I guess it's Shima, and they were just like being nice, but it's a lot.
Yeah, because I think Phantom Zero only got 1 extra chapter in its volume, and it wasn't even really an extra chapter. It was just kind of backstory on the demon hunter sister.
Yeah.
But yeah, Candy Flurry, sad out of 10.
Yeah, R.I.P. Sweet princess out of 10.
Yeah, big sad out of 10. What a fucking annoyance.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up is Witch Watch.
Which was fucking raw as hell this week.
Good chapter, yeah, real good. Good chapter.
Yeah. Good chapter. I like the way he ends up winning, where he's like, I've been calculatively hitting the same spot over and over to reopen the wound.
Yeah, to get blood in your eyes.
Yeah. That's really cool. Also the panel, this isn't a manga. Very cheeky.
This isn't a manga. It's just no background or anything. It's just his face. Saying this is not a manga.
But yeah, I mean, substance-wise, it really wasn't anything. But I do like the fight. Like, I wanted a cool and raw fight between Moe and Wolf, and I got that. So I am 100% happy.
Yeah, the end of the fight was awesome. I don't know what they're gonna do with the Wolf guy now, unless they also like either they just abandon him and let him fuck off, or the Warlock lady also turns nice. Yeah, we'll have to see. But damn, that was a good fight. Also, very cute ending. They had this little hug. That was a cute ass hug.
Yeah, every time those two get anywhere close, period, my heart goes doki doki. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's good stuff. This is quality romance teasing.
Yeah, like it's just right enough because it's a cool fucking fight, and then we get we go back to like one of the more core appeals of the series. Like they're so cute together.
They are so cute together. It's fantastic. And then you have the cat girl at the end. Like, damn it.
Yeah. Well, just means that there's space for you, my friend.
Also, I like how the Tengu guy is the perfect, like, aggravating friend. Like, can you just not fucking make stupid jokes right now? And he's like, no, I have to be here and be irritating. Also,
I still love that Moe is wearing their YouTube channel merch.
It's
also,
so funny.
He's hugging her. the Kaneko channel. But yeah, like
wholesome ass series, man.
Yeah, very wholesome. But honestly, that's kind of already all I have to say on this chapter. Just fun and cute.
Fun,
very nice.
Cute, wholesomeness. Good times.
Good times out of 10.
All right, let's see.
Next up?
Next up is going to be Undead Unluck.
Which was interesting.
I like it, yeah. I think the backstories in this, sometimes they approach One Piece levels of, like, comically sad, but in, like, less blatant comically sad. Whereas in One Piece, it's like, yeah, pirates stabbed my mom in the head, and then my dad got cancer, and then as he was dying, he sneezed and somehow transferred the cancer to my dog, and then pirates came and kidnapped and killed my other dog, and then I ate my entire left arm to survive, and that's why I don't like pirates anymore. These ones are a little bit more believable in how ridiculous they are. It was good. I liked this. I liked the whole notion of like him trying to do the right thing and getting fucked over by his power. Well, I guess you could debate if it's the right thing or not, but him not winning the race on purpose was because he felt like he didn't need the money as much as his friends did, and that if they had it, it would impact their lives better than it would have impacted his. But then, of course, his negator power got triggered, and he fucking exploded and killed them all. And it was a really like interesting way for him to have joined Union, because up in the beginning, Union is kind of labeled as like, are they being jerks, or are they being like, are they forcing you in, or are they just kind of being nice? And then it turns out that they were perfectly willing to like just help him out and let him go. You know, we'll take care of everything. We'll cover money for everybody. You know, you just do what you got to do. And they left, and then he ran along and was like, I'm gonna get revenge for them, blah blah blah. And now he's getting like a cool suit of armor or something in the last panel. I'm here for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Undead Unluck has such a good grip on like how to do these backstories, because I feel like every time we get to them, even when they are kind of exaggerated, they still resonate. Also, I think for me, just the absolute horror of him realizing that he fucking killed his friends by crashing into them.
Too fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's some gory shit. So, yeah, like, I like this shit a lot. I also like the way Unstoppable works, because I hadn't really understood it until this chapter. Before, I was just like, okay, he goes fast and no one can stop him. But it's more so whenever he thinks about stopping, he gets propelled and accelerates, which I think is really cool.
I had always up to this point thought it was just like, you can't stop his momentum. So like once he starts moving, he constantly picks up a little bit of speed and you can't like impede him. But yeah, no, this is way cooler. It's like him basically propelling himself quickly by trying to slow down. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, and of course also ties.
The series are always cool. They're always so like creative.
Yeah, for sure, and it ties sort of into like his backstory as well, right? Like it's, you know, he advances essentially by considering things and by stopping himself before he rushes in, you know, aimlessly. And it's interesting that that's both kind of his virtue and his curse in a lot of ways. That's kind of what makes him valuable to the team, but also what kills his friends. And yeah, it's cool. It's just good shit. I was surprised by how much of this chapter was the backstory. I was kind of expecting for the second half to go back to the fight, but no, like just the entire chapter.
Yeah, the entire chapter was pure flashback.
Yeah. Also, I like how I don't know if I can say diverse, but like how geographically different everyone is. Like, you know, he's from Brazil. You had the who was it? The cool guy that we both like.
Shen?
What was his name? Shen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from China. You know, just a lot of interesting places that are being depicted here. I mean, his name is not Brazilian as far as I can tell, right?
I forget what his actual name is.
Top Bull Sparks.
Okay, yeah, no.
That's a Final Fantasy ass name.
Yeah, I would imagine that's not a Brazilian name. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brazilians that watch the show, but I assume that nobody in Brazil is traditionally named Top.
Top Bull Sparks.
Yeah,
Sparks written with an X.
That is definitely a Final Fantasy name.
Yeah, that's some Aerith Gainsborough type shit. I still can't fucking believe her last name is Gainsborough, man.
Yeah. Tifa Lockhart. Mm-hmm.
Well, Tifa gets away with it.
Yeah, because I wonder why.
Cloud Strife. I mean, come on. Oh no, what? Our main character is called Strife and has had a hard past? No. Impossible.
Well, the funny part about that is the guy who he models himself off of when he goes like crazy. His last name is Fair.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be like nice weather.
Yeah. Also, did you know that Zack's name is actually apparently a mistranslation? His first name. He's supposed to be called Zax with a X at the end.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's a lot worse.
But because the first time it's mentioned in the text of FF7, it's sort of like, let's go to Zack's place. I don't remember what the exact quote is, but, it has in English, you would have an S at the end. Right. And in Japanese, you have the sound Zakusu. And sort of overworked and underpaid translators of the original game just went like, okay, bet his name is Zack, and we're going to Zack's house.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, did you know the entirety of FF7 was translated by one guy in 2 weeks?
I did not know that, but it makes perfect sense because, my God.
Yeah. To you and to everyone listening, I can absolutely recommend Tim Rogers' Let's Mosey video series, which is him who is a bilingual Japanese-English speaker, replaying all of FF7, both in English and in Japanese, and explaining how certain things came to be. It's amazing. Very cool. Yeah, I'll link it to you after the show if you want. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, I'll have to check that out.
But okay, anyway, Undead Unluck is emotional out of 10 for me this week.
Unstoppable out of 10.
Yeah, baby.
Aha, we got him.
Crying at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow.
All right, next up is Mashle.
Dude, I'm liking this shit.
Yes.
I'm liking this Harry Potter guy.
Yes, he's cool. He's also Gara, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the whole Mash's strategy was to get out of his clothes so fast that his clothes cannot react. So they're still standing there. And then his Naruto joke.
The substitution
jutsu, yeah. And he's just clung to the pole back behind him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely so charming. I love Mash. And I'm really interested to see like what happens after this chapter though, because like now Mash has landed a hit on this guy, which I didn't expect because the narration was all like he could have won if it weren't for the person he was fighting. So seeing him actually land that axe kick at the end was very surprising. So I wonder what's gonna happen next chapter. How
I don't know. I can't tell if it's meant to look like an actual hit or if it's meant to look like sand is blocking it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like it could be that it's being intercepted.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me check as well so we can have.
Yeah, because if you look at the last panel,
mm-hmm.
it looks a lot to me like there could be sand intermixed in what's going on. Because it looks like the whole page is covered in it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think that might be it actually.
Like he might be full on just Gara-ing it, like sand shielding it, because it looks like the whole page is covered in like a grainy sand effect.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like the body is made of like it's a substitute made of sand or something. But I don't think he actually hit him.
Yeah, the real Orter is actually the little Dobby character.
The little
that's
the reveal.
That's it.
That the Harry Potter body was fake.
Yeah. Also, why is this fucking dramatic ass kick interrupted by Mash's toes being explicitly and very detailedly drawn?
Yeah, it's weird because the rest of his leg is not.
Yeah, right?
It's
that actually kind of looks weird. Like, I don't think I like that.
Yeah, well, Mash is actually enlarged foot guy from Elusive Samurai.
Oh my god. It all makes sense.
It's all coming together.
Everything is actually just Elusive Samurai Requiem. Everything is fan fiction. Also, yeah, fucking look at Mash's torso in that final panel.
Yeah,
Jesus.
It's like the man has a snatched waist, and then he's got like the Incredible Hulk, the rest of his body.
Yeah, but then his legs are like fucking nothing.
Yeah, Mash obviously
skips leg day.
Well, I think the whole universe skips leg day, because like look at Order's legs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but wait, let me find. There's a panel where he frees his leg. Yeah, on page 3, when he frees his leg, his foot looks so fucked up.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does.
That's a straight up stick figure foot. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, maybe that's why he drew it all detailed in the last page.
Oh no, is Mash gonna be like the guy from Neru and he has super feet?
Oh god, well, Mash has super everything.
So he has super feet.
He has super feet by extension of the fact that he has super everything.
Oh god, you hate to see it. But yeah, also this kind of just a very, like a lot of the chapters this week, just sort of empty in terms of like stuff one can really discuss. Most of it is just cool and raw. Like, you know, we don't learn anything new about.
Honest, that's why I got a 10.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't learn anything new about Harry Potter. Like, oh, he's a fascist and a racist. Like, cool. We knew that.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that since before this came out.
I mean, that is also true. But I feel like that's one of those things that everyone kind of beats Harry Potter fans over the head with. So, you know, I'll give him a break just this once.
That's fair.
Yeah, like it must be rough. It must be rough. But so yeah, Mashle gets a rawness and swag out of 10 from me.
As it does.
as it needs to.
Yeah. All right, so that puts us in top 3s. So that puts us with Red Hood,
which was fucking good.
It was good. I love the twist on the cops and robbers game.
Yeah, because it's like it's basically a repeat of the bell exam from Naruto, but disguised so that you don't immediately see it coming. Because the bells in this situation is something that is at first completely inconspicuous. Like right up until like the last 3 or so pages, I would not have guessed that the crux would be the handcuffs.
Yeah, I didn't pull on that at all until they said it. So it was very cool. And I like the whole idea of like it's not just him that figured it out. It's like a whole group of people that he can work with that kind of figured it out. Because I was a little bit worried after the just what are you planning for his story thing last time that we were going to start veering into like hardcore Chosen One territory. But no, he's just like he's just like pretty good. And other pretty good people also get it. Which I like.
Yeah, there's also a double spread of them like, you know, remaining. That was very cool. Like I didn't expect it. I genuinely thought we were going to be on some hide and seek nonsense this chapter, but no.
I also love the panel of when they start the game, and they're both like monstrous looking.
The cops are on duty.
Yeah, and Grimm's face is so good in that panel.
Yeah, we'll massacre you all.
We'll kill you all.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we said it last week. This author has a type.
Yes. Big women.
They're both like 10 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, hey, I'm not gonna knock it. I can see the vision. Like, I can appreciate it. Although, look at fucking Debonaire's tricep in that panel specifically. Holy fuck.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Her fucking bicep and tricep together are as fat as Grimm's thigh.
Uh-huh.
And Grimm's already an exaggerated as hell character. I am very much on board with this show.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny that they show Grimm with her leg forward and then her with her arm forward.
Yeah. And like then the fight starts and it's actually really cool. Like the guy who is, mixes herbs and stuff, and like this one gives you the ability to control wind out of your throat, which I hope hope if it ever gets an anime adaptation, I hope it's just fucking burps. I think that'd be funny because I'm 12. Uh, and I like that they all have like different and cool abilities. Like nothing super crazy, like, oh, I can control string. Oh, okay, cool. Um, but the twist is still pretty cool. I'm really into it. And I like how it takes the entire group to distract them in order to give Velu a chance to get the handcuffs.
Yeah, which
It
I
feels
imagine he probably won't get.
Yeah.
I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think that they're gonna lose, and get tagged out of jail later.
Okay.
But maybe not. But I don't think Velo's gonna get the handcuffs right here. Or maybe they'll just be like, hey, you figured it out, and that was all we wanted. We didn't expect you to win. We just wanted you to do the right thing, so you pass, or something like that.
Honestly, that I can almost see the most happening because I still feel like Red Hood is in those times where it doesn't want to commit to anything for too long.
Yeah.
So that it can show you more cool shit. Although, let's be real, it has introduced 2 huge mommy GFs. This series is set.
Yeah, it knows what it's doing.
Yeah, the moment Japanese fan artists draw super high quality, crazy horny fan art of your characters, you've made it.
Yeah, you're set.
Yeah.
The sales figures are fine at that point.
Yeah, and I've seen both Grimm and Debonair represented.
Oh, I can only imagine the sheer volume of Grimm fan art that has existed since before the series even came out, because she was the advertisement character for it.
Yeah, when was it? A month ago or so, I made a video where I mentioned Red Hood, and so I put her on the thumbnail. So I had to Google her, and let me tell you, yeah, this show's doing fine. Mm-hmm. It's not going anywhere, I think. Like Grimm has squarely made sure that the sales numbers will be there at least for the first volume, which should be coming out soonish, actually. So we'll actually know how well it's doing.
Oh yeah, I am interested to see that. I assume it's doing very well, but that's just my assumption.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Maybe hopefully the Horikoshi assistant curse can be broken.
I hope so. Never again, Zip Man. Never again.
Never again. So yeah, Red Hood for me gets a mommy out of 10. I really like it. I really hope it keeps being good.
All right. You know what? I'll co-sign that mommy out of 10. That's fine.
Let's go.
It's earned it.
Let's go.
All right. So next up is going to be Dr. Stone.
Which is your guy, so
yes,
it's time for you to gush.
Fucking slapped. So this, it started out, again, in what we always call the quintessential Dr. Stone chapter, where they're just like, time to do shit, time to find rocks so that we can make things. And they did that, and they started talking about the rocket. And the revelation that they cannot come back from the moon is so fucking raw. That, we're 3 of us are going to have to go up there, sacrifice ourselves, petrify ourselves on the moon until humanity, advances far enough to be capable of going to the moon and back. In order to protect everyone in the future. And that final shot of Ryusui, Tsukasa, and Senku just, petrified, sitting on the moon, staring up at the earth, is so good.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Chilling.
Just fucking, and then the last shot of Senku saying, the having a working Medusa is the only way that we can go up there and do what we have to do. God. Yeah. Dude, that was so fucking good. When Dr. Stone hits you with big shit like this, it's just peak. It's peak.
Yeah, I don't know, when I started the chapter, I was like, oh god, am I gonna call this a quintessential Dr. Stone chapter a 3rd week in a row? What are the people gonna say? But then the stuff with the rocket came out, and I was like, oh shit. Because yeah, it's really cool how it's like it is kind of a suicide mission, but it just steers clear of that by saying, no, actually, we will seal ourselves away until you can save us in the distant future, which somehow is worse. Like it somehow feels more impactful than if they just said, yeah, we're just gonna starve on the moon.
Yeah, well, because it part of it kind of is because you've got their whole group down there that will probably all be dead, by the time any of that technology is possible. But they have to keep going their whole lives knowing that, like, if only, like, imagine how Chrome is going to feel if Senku's up there. And he sits there saying, like, oh, if only I were good enough, I could get them back. But I'm not. So they're stuck there on the moon until someone better than me comes along.
Yeah, like, ooh. That's gonna sting.
And I almost wonder if this is setting up, because I can't imagine Dr. Stone ends on, and then Senku was petrified on the moon forever, the end. Like, so I wonder if this is almost setting up an afterward arc where, like, Zeno comes into focus. And starts directing the group to, like, all right, we're gonna get him back. And I'm gonna do it because I'm space guy. I'm Mr. Spaceman.
Yeah, like it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out because there's so much interesting stuff in place already. But yeah, to me, just the big strength of this chapter is that haunting imagery of just these dead stone statues in the emptiness of the moon, staring down at Earth, like
staring at the Earth. It's so good.
Yeah, it has a weird, like, terrifying quality to it, which I think is really enhanced by Boichi's art. Sort of that photorealism that he can do.
And then, it raises more questions, too, of these are three of the people who were kind of the main ones in the discussion of immortality, is it right or wrong, right? So you remove them from the equation, then where do you go from there? Because Chrome at first, for example, was like all about it. Like, oh, fuck yeah. We can just not never die. But, they had to have that talk about it. Like, Gen is still there. And, I mean, again, I'm jumping very far into the future here, assuming that this even actually happens. But, like, Gen would still be there. But other than Gen and Chrome, does anyone know?
I don't think so. I don't seem to remember.
I think it's just Gen and Chrome that know about that. So, like, removing Senku and, to a lesser extent, Ryusui and Tsukasa, I guess, for moral grounds, but just more for he punched good. But removing them from the equation changes a lot if that ends up happening. Like, Ryusui set up the currency system for the world. Who honors that if he's no longer there? Senku does everything. I mean, you have Zeno now, and we'll see if he, keeps his word to be a nice guy or not. We'll have to see. But there's so much shit. Ugh. I love it. I love Dr. Stone, man. Dr. Stone loves just hitting you with these big moments out of nowhere, where just, like, shit's going on, and then all of a sudden, also everything's super fucked. Like, out of nowhere, right at the end.
Yeah, like, do you remember the chapter within which they dropped the immortality reveal? Like, that you could not have seen that shit coming.
Just out of nowhere. It was just out
of left field. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm definitely very excited. Like, I think one thing that's gonna be very interesting to see in the end portion of Dr. Stone is how it handles the idea of, like, humanity going forward. Because I feel like in shonen manga, you can very quickly fall into this trap of being too naive about the world and saying, like, oh yeah, and then everything was fine. And I feel like Dr. Stone as a series is too smart to do that. So I'm very interested to see how it circumvents that. Because, for example, oh god, okay, have you ever watched Code Geass?
No.
Do you plan on doing it?
No.
Do I get to spoil it for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, fellas, spoilers for Code Geass. So in Code Geass, which is made the best example I have for this type of storytelling, it's like the main character becomes this homicidal villain in an attempt to unite the world against him. And he becomes like this terrible dictator that then orchestrates his own assassination so that the world, is just left united. And then the series ends and it's like, yeah, so after literally the most powerful person on Earth was killed, everyone just agreed to still be nice to each other. And I always found that...
No.
Yeah, like the concept of a power vacuum never crosses that series' lips. And
which is exactly what would happen.
Yeah. And it's kind of like here with Dr. Stone as well. Like, once the big players are gone from these primitive society, what's going to happen? Like, I can't imagine that everyone is just going to honor the memories of these people. And even if the first generation does, who's to say the next couple do? And so it's one of those things where you quickly fall into a trap of oversimplifying it for the sake of an ending, which isn't the worst thing in existence, but it can come across as kind of dumb. A more recent example is Attack on Titan. Spoilers for Attack on Titan, where the first ending he made was basically, the world remains in a weird state of war and terror, and actually nothing mattered.
Yeah, and he didn't help at all, basically.
Yeah, and then the second ending that he wrote, namely the extended ending, is like, no, actually, you know what? It actually made everything worse. And it's like, that may be more realistic, but also it makes you as the reader feel like shit in the end. And I feel like it's hard to balance these sorts of things. So I guess we'll have to see what Dr. Stone does for it, because I definitely feel like it's the kind of series that will eventually have to tackle this question.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of can't get away with a naive answer. Because, you already had Tsukasa's whole shtick about, if you let people loose, eventually they will just reestablish exploitative capitalism. And once you open that box, I feel like you can't just then end on, no, actually everyone was just friends forever. Like, there needs to be a little bit of nuance and cynicism.
Well, especially because Tsukasa is right,
Mm-hmm.
that's 150 million% what would happen. And I generally don't go with the idea that, like, all humanity needs is, like, a nice guy 1,000,000 years ago who set us on a nice track and we just stayed nice forever.
Mm-hmm.
No. No, not really. So we'll have to see where that goes. And just the thought of, like, moving into that territory for Dr. Stone is super exciting. Because these are, like, the three people that drive everything, right? And now you're teasing us with the idea that they might be gone, and we'll have to reckon with a world without them for at least a while. Super cool concept. I love Dr. Stone when it just does this kind of shit.
Yeah, Dr. Stone is wild, also, like, in how it distributes characters around things. Like, you're never sure who you're gonna follow next. Like, you can usually be sure that Senku's gonna be around, but who's gonna be the next focus? Like, when a couple of weeks ago, we randomly found Ryusu's brother. Like, that came completely out of nowhere, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
And all the ways in which the groups get split and whatnot. It's definitely a very core and interesting aspect of the series. But so yeah, we'll have to see what the series ends up saying about humanity and our persistence in the face of our own incompetence.
The endless struggle of overcoming our own idiocy.
Yeah, well, we were talking about what the world needs, and to quote Freud, the world just needs more mommy GFs. And boy, do I have a manga for y'all.
So you're saying that Red Hood is our first step toward a utopia?
I'm saying Red Hood is the perfect unification of utopian thinking and Freudian psychology. That's a video title right there. Red Hood Hunters Guild, the Freudian Shonen Jump masterpiece. And the thumbnail is just a stolen piece of grim art where her tits are even bigger. Ah, I see it now. Magnificent. Hey, so anyone, that's a free video idea. Have fun with it. Go wild.
can't wait for that to be all over YouTube in a week.
But okay, so Dr. Stone for me gets harrowing out of 10.
Yes. Fantastic spooky imagery out of 10.
All right.
All right, so next up is, of course, My Hero Academia.
All right, to continue the theme. If a giant fox lady hugs me and calls me her crybaby hero, bro, I cannot say this on air what I would do. Like that shit. Hori's nasty for this. Like he clearly loves this weird mouse girl, and I'm all for it. I love her too.
Yeah, what how big is this bitch supposed to be? That's all I'm wondering. Because I feel like every time I see her, she's 3 feet taller than she was last time I saw her.
Well, the thing is, every time he draws her, Hori gets 3 feet hornier. So, you know, it all works out in the end.
This time, now she's picking Deku up like a baby. Like,
dude, one of her ass cheeks is as big as Koda's entire body.
I know. Like, look at Koda's whole body, and he comes up to her knee when she's like bending down.
This is peak character design, by the way. I don't want to hear anything else. This is what peak character design is all about. But anyway, this was a good chapter. I actually really enjoyed it. On my first read, I was like, ugh, are we still trying to get Deku into UA? Like, it's been a month. You know, a month of people talking about how they feel, which is a bit trying, but, you know, as I reread it, I was like, you know what? This is actually kind of sweet, because the last few chapters have all been sort of these hero speeches about how the world should be and how heroism should affect them. But then this chapter is very much sort of more practical. Like, okay, but what does that mean? And what does that specifically mean for like the average person? And I like that it's Deku's chapter 1 fan that makes a reappearance and tells everyone, hey, so we're kind of super placid and passive. And we kind of need to change that. Otherwise, we're literally not doing anything better. I like that. I like that it was sort of... You see, MHA does this thing where it will randomly just acknowledge the single most reasonable aspect of a certain ideology or of a certain scene. And it hits every time. Because here as well, where he's like, you know, we become coddled with All Might. And, you know, despite how much we talked about how he inspires us, in the end, we were just spectators, and that just doesn't fly anymore. I thought that was really good, you know, despite the fact that it's, again, just another chapter of speeches. So, yeah, I found myself very endeared with it. And, you know, Deku declaring, once again, we will do this, we will win, kind of hit pretty hard. And then you have, like, the double spread of the civilians helping the heroes and kind of connecting. And then the metaphor of One for All being this sort of this line of connections between people, which is kind of corny, but also, you know, I'm here for it. Because, I mean, the entire point of One for All is to be the accumulation of heroic power and will. So I'm good with that. So, yeah, very, very good chapter.
It was good. Yeah, I am kind of feeling the fatigue of, like, oh, my God, or yeah, how many speeches at this front door do we have to give? Like, Jesus Christ. It's not too bad yet, but like if there's another speech in front of this building next week, like if All Might turns around and is like, it's my turn to give a speech, I'm gonna be like, okay, everybody's had their speech, for the love of God, please. Yeah, let's start progressing the plot a little bit, maybe. That would be great.
Yeah, because like so the sequence from since UA students showed up to help Deku to now has been longer than the entire Stain arc. Like
I can feel it.
Yeah, we've been dealing with this for almost 2 months now. Like we've been trying to get this kid into this school for 2 months. I'm not a parent. I shouldn't be doing this.
Right? Yeah, like I'm not on the PTA, bro. All right?
Yeah.
I don't have time for this shit. And like for me, I get this is part of the reason why I think that One Piece stuff is like comical, not touching. Is like I get emotional overload, where like the more time you spend trying to hammer home like don't you feel things at me, I become like, oh my god. Like, I did, and now it's becoming stupid. And so there's only so many faces, like sobbing faces, that I can take before I'm like, okay, it was very heartfelt 2 weeks ago, and now I'm kind of just numb to it, and I'm no longer that interested in it. Like, Kota was kind of cute, because he, like, did the little All Might thing, and then he said, get it, because he's, like, 4 years old. And I was like, that's cute.
Yeah.
But, like, no more speeches, though, okay? Please.
Yeah, no. Next week we need to go into action.
Yeah, we need to move on.
Yeah. I will say Koda's thing actually hit me also hard, because he does basically the same face and the same sort of panel structure as Deku does in Chapter 1 when he saves Bakugo. Like, it's the exact same facial expression.
Oh,
and I don't know if that's just Hori only being able to draw one face from that angle, but I don't think so. And, you know, I know last week I think you mentioned that it's weird that the people running to him are Koda and this random lady.
Just this woman he bumped into on the street one time?
Yeah, but honestly, now that I'm looking over it again, I kind of like it. Because you have Koda, someone whom he affected very much in, like, a super epic way, where he had, like, this death fight. And then you have Fox Lady, who's, like, you know, a very small act of kindness that nonetheless meant a lot to her. And I feel like it's cool that you have this sort of spectrum around him. And, you know, this is 100% me making an excuse for what is a weird character decision. But I can see that. And I appreciate it, you know? Like, I can see that. And it makes me feel better about this chapter. And, of course, you know, I love, again, the fact that there's so many reappearing characters in the crowds. The obvious one being Chapter 1 Starfish Head guy. Just awesome that he makes a return. Also terrible because it means, we're definitely moving towards the end if we're, you know, bringing back the incidental Chapter 1 character.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
Yeah. I do really like the double spread of them walking Deku inside and being like, everybody get out of the way because this boy is noxious. The fumes coming off of this child will render you unconscious if you get too close. Everybody please back up.
Also, I like how it's a freeze frame of Kaminari smacking Bakugo over the head.
Yeah, in the back of the head, because he's being an asshole to that guy in the crowd.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very cool. And I also like Hawks's like interpretation of it all, where it's like, you know, we don't have to bear these burdens alone anymore. We are a web of connections, and because of that, every single one of us is going to be uplifted. And that's a world that I want to live in. Just very cool. Also, can we talk about Endeavor? Like, this man is straight up lying. When he agrees with Shoto that they're gonna go deal with Toya together.
Oh yeah, that's not a you got it, son face.
Yeah, that's a
I'm hiding my lie from you face.
Yeah, that's a I plan on killing him alongside myself face.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely
like 100%.
That's definitely gonna happen. Either Dabi's gonna win, or like Endeavor's not gonna be able to go through with it, or they're both gonna die together. One of the two.
Yeah. What I saw a Pineapple tweet about it, and I thought that was a really cool idea, because I think at this point everyone agrees that the fight between Endeavor and Dabi and whoever else is involved is going to happen at the house, at the Todoroki mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of doesn't make sense for it to happen anywhere else. And I found it cool that Pineapple and a couple other people were saying, like, what if when Dabi said, come dance with your son in hell, what he meant was the house? Because the house to him was his personal hell. And then you could have, like, that arc be called A Dance in Hell. Like, that'd be so fucking cool.
That would be cool. But I feel like it can't end with Endeavor and Dabi just killing each other. I feel like it can't. The Shoto has to fight him.
Yeah, maybe at the start, but I kind of feel like...
Yeah, whether either, like, he fights at the beginning and then Endeavor comes up and is like, all right, you got to get out of here. And he forces Shoto to leave, or Shoto comes in at the end when the house is already burned down, and, you know, he just sees Dabi leaving, and Dabi's like, haha, fuck you, kid, and they fight later. Like, I don't know. But there's no way that Shoto and Dabi don't engage at some point.
Yeah, but honestly, the way I'm seeing it right now, because the thing is, Dabi probably has to die. because Hori has in a lot of interviews talked about like reformation of villains and how it's a super hard thing to pull off because you need it to be believable. And not only do you need it to be believable, you need to get your audience on your side. Because if, you just redeem someone, you are still going to run into the problem of the audience looking at their TV screens going, but he's a fucking murderer. Don't redeem him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with Shigaraki, he has set himself up to do sort of a redemption story, or at the very least, hey, actually, you were kind of just the victim story.
Yeah, I think it's leaning more toward victim than redemption, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Dabi is kind of too far gone. Like, Dabi is a mangled monster at this point.
I think that any sort of, like, I don't think it's impossible to, like, make Dabi realize what he's done is shitty or whatever, but I feel like there's no returning his sanity without him realizing that he's done all this horrible shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, part of the problem when it comes to redeeming a villain is not just, like, oh, the Darth Vader, like, all he did was kill the Emperor. That doesn't really make up for the horrible, massive genocides he's done. But at the same time, like, how redeemed are they to the point where they're not like, oh my god, well, this horrible shit that I did. Like, I should be traumatized at best from all of this information. I don't really see what you could do with Dabi other than just, like, he could maybe have some sort of last-minute heroic sacrifice, but he can't show up in 5 years as, like,
a pro hero.
Yeah, warm-up hero, Endeavor 2.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo. But, because the thing is, I'm pretty sure Dobby's going to die. Like, if there's any one character in the show that I am very sure that they're going to meet their end by the time the series finishes, it's Dobby, because he just doesn't seem like the kind of character who would survive the finale.
Unless they take him to the super hospital. Anyone survives there.
That is true. And I think there is no way for him to die other than alongside his father. I just don't see it happening any other way. And so what I think is going to happen is that the fight is going to start as Shoto versus Dabi. And then Endeavor's going to join, and then Shoto's going to be incapacitated, he's going to lose or whatever. And then Shoto's going to be brought to safety, and Endeavor is going to burn up alongside Dabi. My only problem with that theory is the fact that canonically, Dabi, there's no reason to do that, because Dabi would die way before Endeavor does to heat.
Yes.
So what I'm thinking is then that Endeavor would essentially use that as a suicide excuse, because he wouldn't have to kill himself to kill Dabi, but he would do it anyway. But then, you run into other problems.
His son's body or whatever.
Yeah. It's complicated, but I definitely think there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. Like, me and my girlfriend have been watching MHA, the anime. I know. And we got to the Endeavor Agency arc yesterday night, and it just reminded me, like, this is the best thing to come out of My Hero, like, by such a mile. It is no contest. And so I'm very excited to see how this ends up in the story, how Hori finishes this very, very crucial plot point. And yeah, aside from that, we get Aizawa, and we get the reveal that they actually did plan ahead and shipped Kurogiri away so he couldn't get jailbreaked. And then we have that very ominous ending. I still just
don't care at all about the Kurogiri thing.
I think no one who has any self-respect does. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is... There is no arguing that. Like, it is done so poorly. Because... And I've evolved my stance on it. I am convinced the Aizawa flashback from Vigilantes was meant to be in My Hero, and then got yoinked out into Vigilantes to promote it. I am actually very, very convinced of that, for the simple reason that it accomplishes nothing in Vigilantes, but would have accomplished everything in the main story. And the story of Vigilantes pretty much pauses to give you that flashback. And, My Hero, the main manga, weirdly mentions Shirakumo once, gives us a glimpse of him, and then nothing comes of it. That seems weird, doesn't it?
It does seem a little bit
So,
weird, yeah. I'm just baffled by the decision to put such a crucial piece of information in the spin-off and then just be like, hey, it's also in this now, and if you don't read the spin-off, you just don't know, so you better go read it.
yeah. Like, I am so annoyed at that, and I genuinely, this is one of those arguments that I will never budge on. I will never accept that this is somehow, no, actually really good and efficient. Like, no. No, it's yoinking out a crucial part of your story purely to promote a spin-off. And I don't care that, oh, comics do it too, and I don't care that, oh, the economic realities of the medium. Like, if a change that you make for monetary reasons makes your product worse, it makes your product worse. And if, you have to rely on side content to make your product function, then maybe you didn't plan that side contact very well. Like, what can I say? I will always be obnoxious about this. There's no shutting me up.
Oh god, did you see the one guy that said that we need to grow up if we don't like the return of Mirio?
Oh, well, luckily for y'all, I am already grown up. I pay my taxes, and I still hate that mirror return.
Yeah, he like went on a long thing about how it's not we're being childish by calling it objectively bad instead of just saying we don't like it. And I'm trying to explain like that's the same thing. Because if you saying you don't like something means that it's not like objectively good, subjectivity, that's how it works. That's literally what it means. And no, I just keep getting this long like, you need help, kid.
Yeah.
You
like,
need therapy if you don't like Mirio's return.
You need therapy if you don't like this cartoon character's presence in a story.
Yeah, if you don't like the way he was reintroduced into the story.
Yes, and it's usually written by like, fucking terminally online kids to us, grown-ass men. Like, I pay taxes. Do you pay taxes? No. Most of you don't. Also, Mirio coming back is objectively bad because I say it is.
So deal with it.
Yeah, like, cope. I'm sorry. Like, here's the thing, right? Objectivity can only be perceived through the subjective lens of our own experience. And on the internet, when someone talks about objectivity, more often than not, it's just them trying to hide their own subjectivity under something that they believe to be more valid.
Yes,
like
always.
It's literally just that. Like, you can, and here's the thing, right? Like, you can approach objectivity in literary criticism. You can do that. You can try to look at things from as many angles as possible to extract a sort of truth in. But that is usually done under specific frameworks and specific theoretical ideals. You read a story under the idea of naturalism or rationalism or capitalist criticism. And then you find, a thesis statement that you can then try and objectively approach only through that lens. It's a very limited thing. And B, these are things done by people who, dedicate their lives to studying literature and understanding the complex network of cultural readings. Not necessarily by people who haven't read anything since middle school, but hey.
Who have never read something they weren't forced to that wasn't a manga.
Yeah, and like it's always hard to talk about these things without sounding super pretentious, because like you don't need to fucking read, you don't need to absolve like a literature bachelor to be able to tell me that you like Mirio's return. But for the love of God, like stop using the word objectivity when what you really mean is, I think this thing is cool and you're stupid for disagreeing. Because
Correct.
Yeah, I am stupid for disagreeing, and you're stupid for disagreeing with me. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, that's generally what it always comes down to. Is it's just like 99% of the people who are going to engage in this discussion when they say objective, they just mean like I have to somehow come out justified in me liking this thing you don't like. So even if that just means telling you that you're being unfair by disliking it, that still counts as a win in my column, so I can feel better about it.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you invoke objectivity outside of the framework of literary criticism's established schools of thoughts, you actually are defaulting to the terms of objectivity put forth by like natural sciences, which is number based and statistics based. And if you can show me a statistic that shows me that Mirror's Return has 227% more good writing in it than things that I like, I'll be very surprised. And if you do that, I'll tell you that statistics are stupid because they include numbers.
Thereby making them invalid.
Thereby making them fake by my estimates because I can't estimate very far. We're talking about MHA, right?
We were.
Of course. The only series that can spark us into this shit. So, do we want to take our bets when and if All Might is dying?
I don't know. He's got to die at some point, I feel like. It would be weird if he didn't. But I also feel like it's been so long that it would be hard to do it well. And I feel like if you kill him off, it's going to come off kind of cheesy.
Yes, but also, last time Deku and him talked was literally them like having a very cold interaction that broke All Might's heart. And B, now we see All Might walking like really ominously. And I think he's walking away from UA, not towards UA. Yeah, he's walking away from it. That's the outside of the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, what happened with Stain?
I think
Stain was tailing him.
And no one has agreed with me so far on this, so feel free to disagree with me. But I think it would be neat if All Might's just kind of gone for a while, and Deku learns that something happened to him by seeing him in a more completed form inside of One for All.
Oh.
Like they're looking for him and they can't find him, and then Deku talks to like the other shades, and he's not just like a weird fire in there anymore. It's just him.
You know what? Depending, that could actually be pretty cool. Because I think a lot of people, and I can sort of understand where a lot of people's disagreements with that will come from. I think a lot of people want All Might's death to be sort of, hashtag iconic anime moments, Jiraiya kind of deal. But you kind of can't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, he can't fight anymore, so it would have to be some form of self-sacrifice or execution in front of Deku.
Honestly, the one that I always thought was kind of cheesy but also cool was that he dies getting hugged by Shigaraki, and
he just gets dissolved.
Yeah, that Shigaraki, in a moment of childlike resolution and redemption, reaches out for one person that has never given up on him, and then they too turn to dust, and that sort of reinforces his current goal and makes him truly unsalvageable, and also complicates Deku's idea of, I have to save him, not kill him, because now comes the element of personal revenge, more so than already. So that could be pretty cool. But also, I think your idea is also pretty neat, because I feel like it would give that sort of, it would make his death really cold and somber, and in a way, like, I don't know, harrowing. Because, like, the number one hero, the big celebrity of the world, dies unknown and kind of forgotten about, and just is only really
just like alone. And it would be primarily Deku's fault, because Deku's the one that left him.
Yeah. But that's the thing with All Might, because the thing with All Might, right? And this is something that is, I think, weighs on Hori's shoulders quite a bit. All Might is the only character out of My Hero that is truly iconic. Like, there are other characters who are very popular, but I think All Might is the only character out of My Hero that has sort of ascended into that quintessential shonen manga character tier. Partially because he's really just a cool character to follow, but also because he just has so much natural charisma as a character. He's basically MCU JoJo, if you think about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so I think with him, you always have the question, what do you do with his death? What do you do with his ending? because once you do it, that's done. That's a very important, iconic character's death set in stone. And I think the big conflict there as a writer and as a reader is trying to negotiate, okay, this is cool, but is it the best thing? Okay, this is cool, but is it the most efficient thing? So yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. But I definitely think if he's gonna die in this story, it's not far off anymore.
Well, it can't be. It feels like the whole end of the story is not far off anymore.
That, but also, that panel is peak red flag. But also,
yeah, that panel was worrying for sure.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, All Might has been radiating red flags, like death flags, for ages. So, it might also mean nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Pretty much every time he does anything, it's like a death flag at this point. So, I mean, yeah, you could be completely right that it's just like, it's him doing anything that's not like hugging Deku. So
yeah. Pretty much.
But like, is he with Stain right now? Like, is Stain there? Or is he just... Was that shot just to be like, Stain's out somewhere, fucking around?
Well, no, I'm assuming whatever happened, or like whatever the reason is that he's there, it has to do with the fact that Stain probably approached him, one way or another. So, I definitely think we're gonna get something on that next chapter. Like that, what I want next chapter is either insight on Stain or insight on the League. I don't want any more school stuff or Deku stuff for at least a little bit.
Yeah, I need a couple weeks off of the Hug Fest.
Yeah, because these last chapters have been very saccharine and mostly good. I like them, but I think it's time to do something different for a bit. Because again, we've been trying to get Deku into UA for 8 weeks now. Like we get it. We really get it, Hori. I promise. Like, I'm gonna go out and hug my girlfriend right after this podcast is done. I promise. I understand the importance of human connection. But yeah, so my hero from me gets a wholesome out of 10. Yeah, that's my verdict.
Very cute now, but that's enough out of 10.
That's enough sugar in my tea, please. Out of 10.
Yeah, that's enough slices. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my god. Do you know that fucking guy on, I think it's TikTok, that does like those crazy Mickey hand puppeteering voices?
Yes.
Those are enough fucking slices, my dude.
Yeah.
That's you with my hero.
It 100% is. I'm like, all right, that's good. That's good. We're still going. It's enough slices.
Oh, well, now we're moving into something that you can never have enough slices on.
No. I eat good in this holiday. Every week is my fucking Thanksgiving when it comes to this series. Let's talk Jujutsu Kaisen. The fucking GOAT, once again.
I
love this fucking chapter, dude. It's such like a... It's just Hikari beating the piss out of Yuji. But there's so much going on. I fucking love it. So the very beginning is they catch Kirara, and then Megami's like, for the love of God, just listen. And then Kirara's like, all right. Fine. Fine. And I love just the little panel of Panda like, I didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, Panda's so charming too.
He really,
like,
Panda's
just
so
in general.
Cute. And then, Itadori getting the shit kicked out of him by Hikari, but he's not even fighting back. And then just that little speech that he gives of like, I'm aware of my role, but are you aware of yours? I thought was like pretty fucking good, especially to someone like Hikari, who, is supposed to be this big bad underground, I'm doing all this shit just to get rich and fuck the establishment. And then Kirara kind of gives the little, I don't like the weird Jujutsu Republicans, and I don't like the system, but he's always cared the most when he was helping everyone else. So it's like, yeah, he kind of does know his role, right? And it's going with them and helping them fix everything. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it kind of turns him into that sort of classical caring delinquent stereotype,
Right,
which is
where,
very
he's
cool.
the asshole with the heart of gold stereotype.
He's just Okuyasu.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, he's just Street Fighter Okuyasu with like more brains.
Basically, yeah. I also love the panel of Megami where he points out like, wait, is this fine? And Kirara's like, yep. That I don't know why all that kind of delivery is hilarious to me. Of just Megami saying like, so we're good now? And Kirara's like, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. And they just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And you didn't mention it, so I really like the return of dark Yuji, if you want to call it that, because I feel like in the last couple of chapters,
face Yuji.
Yeah, because I feel like in the last couple of chapters we got to see more of his like normal personality, but here we get to see the actual effects of the Shibuya arc, that he can actually put on the pressure now in terms of like talking to people. Because like pre-Shibuya, I don't think Yuji would have ever been able to talk to anyone like this. Apply verbal pressure on someone.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he is like, the world's a machine and I have a function. What about you, motherfucker? So I really like that. I think, I've seen a couple of people disappointed that Yuji has not just done a complete 180 after Shibuya. But I prefer this. It feels so much better.
Well, right, because this is the way to do it, right? I mean, you see people criticize both ways. Like, oh, everyone says Yuji develops, but all he does is go from a nice boy to a sad boy. Or the other way around of like, oh, Yuji's not a sad boy anymore, so he just didn't develop at all. Which is like, those are both the dumbest takes I've ever seen. It's like, the correct answer is how we're doing it right now. Where like, every aspect of him as a human being is not the same. But like... that doesn't also mean that all of a sudden he's Batman, right? Like, of course he's still the same around his friends, but it doesn't change that, his determination and what it is that he wants to accomplish are not the same. He's fundamentally a different person, but that doesn't make him some sort of like weird Batman robot.
Yeah, like he is a different sort of character, but he's kind of the same person, which is the dumbest fucking thing I've said all week, but it kind of makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because like, there are aspects that form his personality that have fundamentally changed and will never go back. But there are elements to who he is, especially in regards to his social connections, that have not changed because they kind of can't. Without writing a completely different character, right? Like, Yuji's always going to be kind of a goofy, funny, jump into the middle kind of guy. But now he knows how to turn on the pressure. He knows how to discuss the state of the world. Whereas before Shibuya, anyone mentions like the role of Jujutsu Sorcerer, and he's like, yeah, isn't that funny? Not in a bad way, but he was very much sort of confused at worst, kind of indifferent at best, whereas now he actually has a passionate belief about Jujutsu society that really makes him stand out to people like Hakari.
And I really like just the all-black panel of Hikari after Kirara points out that, like, admit that you like him. And Hikari's like, you know what? Kirara's right. And the fever doesn't lie ever. So we're cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm really liking both Hikari and Kirara.
Yeah, they're very distinct in that sense. Also, I like how when they tell Hikari that Yuji's hot enough, is that supposed to be his muscle twitching in that panel, like his chest muscle, or is it his heart?
I assume it's supposed to be his heart. But it would be really funny if it was like his nipple.
Yeah. Oh, also important, I think in this chapter we got confirmation that Gege didn't retcon Hakari's look. He just looks different now.
Yeah, he
because
just changed his
classic
hair.
Hakari makes an appearance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because that was his appearance back before, and then the flashback is him back then. Still looks the same. Yeah, just dyed his hair basically.
Yeah, became like a classical, hydrogen blonde Tokyo delinquent, which is cool. I'm very interested to know what his technique is. Because Yuji says something like, no matter how much force he puts into it, the hits always equally hurt, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, and I assume, again, that ties into whatever the luck power is, right? Like, whatever he happens to be rolling at the time is how much damage he does no matter how hard he tries, which is why Yuta thinks, oh, he's tougher than me, and then Maki says, no, he's not. Is because, his peak is really high, but he can't always reach it. I don't know. The only thing I'm disappointed in is I wanted to see his technique more. But I assume that this means we're going to save it for an actual fight.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is pretty much their recruitment chapter. Now they're part of the team. So, yeah, for what it's worth, I think this was excellent. Like, I like the various ways Gege draws Yuji getting back up again. Like the one where he just snorts out blood out of his nose.
Yes, out of his, like, clearly shattered nose.
I wonder if that's going to leave another scar.
Probably not, but maybe. I also like the art in this chapter is incredible, and I still feel like I see people on Twitter all the time complain that Jujutsu Kaisen is like this ugly sketch-drawn series, looks like shit, and I'm like, how can you fucking look at some of these panels and think that?
Yeah, I mean, they're not like conventionally super highly illustrated, but like, if you take a page like the one where Hakari punts Yuji across the entire page.
Yep.
Like,
looks sure, so good. And God, like, look at Yuji's face when Hakari breaks his nose. Ugh. It looks like so painful.
Yeah, it's, oh, Jesus.
Look at like the curled up lip and everything. Oh, God. Ugh.
Yeah, then immediately after, his nose is like completely flat on his face.
It's like shattered into his face, and he's just ejecting blood out of it.
Holy shit! Yeah, no, this is peak male performance. I don't want to hear it.
I've said that like 5 times this chapter. It's peak performance.
I don't want to hear it. This is peak masculinity. Get the fuck out of here with your rubber hose pirates and your foxy ninjas. This is what a real man looks like. I don't want to hear it. Good comment section for you too this week.
Yeah, man. The comment section always kills me. I love you guys. I love the people, the viewers.
In fact, Zen loves you so much. If you have any disagreements with anything we say on here, please let him know in like extensively long comments. He loves those.
I love 5-paragraph essays about how much of jerks we are.
Yeah, I love 5-paragraph essays that start with "You guys are so pathetic." And like, oh boy, it can only get better.
Yeah, this can only go uphill from here.
Yeah. So. Oh my god, I remember I on one of my videos, I think, because all of my videos that have like the slightest bit of leftist leaning content get like the sickest fucking comments. It is so fun. Like my like Deku masculinity video, I got a comment that was like hugely long, and I didn't read all of it, but the first line was, your idea of morality is very fucked up, isn't it, kid? Huh? And I'm like, Jesus. What is it with like weird right-wingers calling you kid in every situation?
Well, because that's their attempt at being like intelligently condescending, That's the same as like the weird like dismissive laughter kind of shit that you'll see them do. Is like you say anything and then they'll always respond with some like, oh, is that a joke? Because it's easier to like try to pretend that what you're saying makes no sense as opposed to actually engaging with it on its fucking merit in any way.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my favorite is when they go completely mask off and just ask you, "Are you a girl?" It's like, what if I am?
Is that a problem?
Yeah, like what if I am? Huh? What, bro? You trying to you trying to get funky with me? Like, hey, I'll kiss you. I don't fucking care.
Will
You
that
want to
get
take
me?
me
Will
out
that
on?
get me universal health care? If it will, come here.
Yeah, I mean, bro, you trying to treat me like a princess and take me out for dinner? Bro, for sure, but I'm ordering the lobster. Like, I don't know if you can handle that.
I'm getting the lobster tail and steak.
Actually, the funniest way to like shut this shit down is genuine. Just start viciously flirting with them. If you don't want to deal with it,
Usually
just
what I
like,
do is just stop paying attention to them, but I might try that next time.
I mean, usually I do that too, especially now because there's just so much of it now, with the size of the channel. But sometimes I just crack, and then it's like, oh, your arguments don't hold any water, and I'm like, my arguments may not, my eyes do, because you're so pretty. I'd like to cry. Take me out on dinner, bad boy. uh, but yeah, we love these big comments that completely misrepresent us as people or attempt to know us way too well as people.
Yeah, there's always this weird middle ground of like, oh, I know everything about your belief system based on this 5-second thing that you said about how landlords are bad. Or it's like the total opposite, where they'll totally come in and be like, oh, okay, I don't know anything about your belief system, and I acknowledge that. And then it's like a 5-paragraph essay about how you're wrong and stupid anyway.
Yeah, and I think my favorite one is the ones where they admit that they're making an assumption, but then have a complete meltdown over their imagined reality.
Their own assumption. Yeah, I know. Those are the best ones. Because it's like that Twitter meme going around of like the... I demand that you engage with this made-up point that I just created for you. And then you try to say, like, that's not what I'm saying. And they're like, yes, it is.
Oh, dude, my actual favorite. Just admit this is what you mean.
Yeah. Stop dancing around it. Just admit it. Like, what the fuck do you want?
Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I just genuinely believe this thing. Maybe I think healthcare is good. What are you gonna do? Date me? Do it, you won't.
Do it, bitch.
This was about Jujutsu Kaisen, wasn't it?
Hey, we're going full Hikari, all right?
That's fair. The fever has taken us.
That's what I'm gonna call it from now on when we spin off on a tangent. It's just the fever.
The fever.
It's the fever.
You can just, oh my god, now if you can actually timestamp our tangents if they're long enough, and just timestamp it as the fever.
The fever? Oh my god, I should totally do that.
Awesome. But okay, do you have anything else to say on Bubutsu?
No. Oh my god, I really hope that is if Jujutsu Kaisen gets like a follow-up story in the tradition of Boruto that is just called Bubutsu Kaisen. Bubutsu Kaisen.
I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I have this thing with a lot of my IRL friends who also watch Jujutsu, that because Jujutsu Kaisen is a bit of a weird thing to say, especially if you're natively Swiss speaking, because that sort of doesn't exist as much here. So a lot of the time, the way we refer to it is we say Juju, and then we just like make ape noises, and everyone knows what we mean. It was like, oh yeah, did you watch the US episode of Bulgabutsubu? Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Oh, I thought you meant full on ape noises.
Oh no, well, you can't do that in public.
You absolutely can. They would just be like, oh my god, that guy watches Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well, you now know what my ape noises sound like due to a little secret thing.
Oh man, I can't wait for that episode.
I cannot wait for people to get to hear about this little thing. Is that enough cock teasing?
Well, first of all, never. But yeah, for right now.
All right, but so yeah, Jutsu for me gets rawness and swag and fever out of 10.
Yeah. Fever and swag out of 10. Yeah,
fever and swag. That's when I call in sick, but then I'm like out hanging out with the homies. It's fever and swag.
Right,
the grind never stops.
We'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget the art competition's still going on for another 5 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, 5 more times of us reminding you
to submit your art.
Fucking...
Also, apparently, you know what sucks? Apparently, hashtag SNC art is another hashtag.
Yeah, I saw that, but it's a hashtag from like an event from 5 years ago, so we should be good.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think there's any interference.
So just submit your art at hashtag SNC art or in the Discord, preferably both, to be safe. And that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, and if your hashtag gets you a reply from a weird Belgian art competition, don't worry. They don't speak English, hopefully.
Just respond with fever and swag and don't say anything else.
Just pound your chest at them. That's how we do it in Belgium.
Did you see the thing on Twitter that the guy made of us where it was like, can you please talk about fiction like a normal person? And it was our logo over the guy trying to choose between mid or pornography peak fiction.
Yeah, I saw that. It is so accurate,
It's so true.
There is no spectrum. Either it's the best shit of the week or it reeks.
It's fucking stinky or it's godlike. There's no middle ground.
Well, okay, that's maybe for you. For me, I have a third position, which is I want to fuck it.
Which is why Red Hood is in your top 3 every week now.
Well, yeah, I gotta represent it. All right, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody.